Hey everyone, welcome back to TS Friday. I'm your host Aisha, bringing you fresh takes and fast answers from the front lines of talent acquisition every Friday. Joining me today is Vartika, a talent acquisition professional from the North Worldwide, working closely with business leaders and driving hiring impacts across functions. Let's dive into the real stories with Vartika.
Hi Aisha, so I am Vartika. I have been in talent acquisition from past 8 years and I love doing what I am doing. I love meeting people, so I think that was one of the major reasons for me to come in this industry. I am a very talkative person. I love meeting new people, I love making new friends, and I'm over here very excited to be a part of your podcast.
Vartika, what's one assumption people make about recruiters that's completely wrong?
Oh, there are a lot of assumptions, I would say. There are a lot of assumptions, but one of the major assumption is that we as a recruiter, we just forward the resumes and recruiting is very easy. No, this couldn't be further from the truth because as a recruiter, behind every hire, there's a lot of strategic work that's happening. You
Correct.
know, we are understanding the business needs, we are aligning with the stakeholders, we're reading the market, we're building genuine relationship with the candidates. And as a good recruiter, we're just not matching the keywords in a CV. We are also solving a people problem for the business, right? Wherein we are also shaping someone's career. So recruiting, I would say, is just not about filling vacancies or just not, passing on the resumes. As a recruiter, we are helping the organization to stay ahead of its hiring needs, of its talent needs, I would say. So a good recruiting is actual equal parts data, intuition, and relationship management. So yeah, we recruiters have a lot of work and it's not an easy task.
Got it. I'm sure all the recruiters that are watching this will definitely relate. Let me move on to my first segment. What's a hiring decision you're proud of and why did it stand out?
Okay, so there was this one decision that really stayed with me. I was speaking to this candidate, I was screening this candidate. We were just over the call, and let me tell you, this candidate wasn't the textbook fit. Okay,
Oh,
there was some hesitation initially, but when I spoke to the candidate, when during the conversation, the mindset, the
mhm.
ownership, the hunger to grow was so much evident in that candidate that it made me, pause, and it made me like I remember thinking, if we only hire for check boxes, we'll really miss the real game changers.
Right.
So without hesitation, we moved forward, and let me tell you, this person within few months of joining, he exceeded the expectations. And he became a very strong contributor to the team. So
Got
that moment really stood out because it reminded me that the best recruitment or the best recruiters, we just don't fill the roles, we also spot future impacts.
right, right. So I think I would say then there's no blueprint as such that a recruiter should actually follow while hiring a candidate because different candidates can have different criteria or different things can come up which could actually be like a major contributor to the decision making.
I would say a recruiter should just definitely follow his or her intuition. That's
Right.
the major thing. Like intuition plays a very important role in recruitment. And when your intuition says that this candidate, even if they're not fixing the textbook,
Mhm, mhm.
let's just go for it. Because sometimes more than practical, I would say more than the studies or the textbook knowledge, the practical knowledge it matters the most, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely. That brings me to my next question, Vartika. What's harder, convincing a great candidate to join or convincing a hiring manager to decide?
If you ask me, I would say both, but no,
Mhm.
it's a great question. And speaking from the lens of someone who has been in the talent acquisition from past 8 years, so I would
Great.
definitely say convincing the hiring managers to decide is definitely a difficult part.
Of
You
course.
know, what happens is when the role is well positioned,
Mm-hmm.
when the candidate experience is strong, the great candidates are open to moving, right?
Correct.
They respond
Absolutely.
to clarity,
Right.
speed, and a compelling value proposition.
Right.
Now, where typically things slow down is in internal alignment,
Mm-hmm.
decision fatigue, evolving expectations, risk aversions, or like too many stakeholders in the room. I would say in today's market, indecision is expensive because top talent has options and has timelines of their own. So for
Absolutely.
me, the real competitive advantage isn't just sourcing great talent, it's also building a culture of decisive, well informed hiring. And I strongly believe that strong candidates, they don't get lost in the market, they get lost in the process.
That's a good one. That's a crisp answer. This is something that our audiences should take notes of. Having said that, let's move on to our rapid fire segment. So, audiences, get your popcorn and coffee because it's going to be rapid and fun. The first question to you, Vartika: if hiring had a warning label, what would it say?
Not for the faint-hearted.
One word that describes hiring managers.
Unpredictable.
One thing recruiters secretly celebrate.
Oh, when the offer gets signed and there's no drama attached to it. Definitely, we love celebrating that.
Awesome. What's more dramatic, offer negotiations or last minute dropouts?
Last minute dropouts, for sure. Because I believe offer negotiations, they have tensions. But
Right.
when there are dropouts, they definitely come with a plot twist.
Yeah, I mean,
Very,
it's
very
like
risky
everything is
plot
done and
twist.
in the end, it's just not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, what happened? What was the plot twist? Definitely
Yeah.
of last minute dropouts.
One small hiring mistake that becomes expensive later on.
Okay, as a recruiter, one small hiring mistake that becomes very expensive later on is when we start a search without having a true role clarity. For
Got
me, what I believe, when success metrics, must-haves, and stakeholder alignments aren't locked up front,
Yeah.
we as a recruiter we end up interviewing the wrong profiles, resetting the search, or worse, making a mishire.
Right.
So it may be a small, it may look like a small shortcut in the beginning, but it always shows up later in the lost time, in the lost management, in the lost talent, lost business momentum. So I would suggest always make sure that you have a great, a clarity of the role before we start the sourcing.
One underrated recruiter skill no one talks about.
Okay, so one underrated recruiter skill for me is real-time market intelligence.
Right.
As great recruiters, we just don't source. We constantly read the talent market, the
Absolutely.
compensation shifts, the candidate sentiments, right?
Right.
Now, this allows us to guide hiring managers with data-backed realism instead of optimism. So it generally prevents a lot of failed searches, right? So if we bring that real market data to the hiring managers, their competencies, their needs, and everything is clear, and we
Correct.
don't go for false hiring.
One question every recruiter should ask stakeholders before starting a role.
Okay, that's a great question, and I would love to. I think this is one of my favorite questions. The first question that you should definitely ask before the stakeholder before starting a role is, what are we willing to flex on, and what is truly non-negotiable?
Got it.
I believe mostly because most hiring delays, they don't come from the lack of talent, they come from the lack of clarity. So I
Absolutely.
always tell this early to my stakeholders, because in my experience, hiring delays, they don't come from the shortage of talent, right? When
Right.
stakeholders, they don't have clarity with it, where they don't define the must-haves, the nice-to-haves, the
Correct.
search quickly becomes a moving target.
Right.
Profile may look good but not perfect. Feedback becomes subjective. Decision cycles, they stretch. So getting explicit alignment upfront, does two things. First, it sharpens the recruiter's targeting strategy.
Right.
We know where to push, where to filter. Second, it brings discipline into the process,
Right.
because everyone is evaluating against the same success criteria.
So my final question to you, Vartika, one habit that separates average recruiters from exceptional ones.
Okay, so an average recruiter, they wait for updates, but an exceptional recruiter, they drive the process. We don't wait for updates. We anticipate the bottlenecks. We follow up before being asked. We
Right.
keep stakeholders aligned. We maintain consistent candidate communications. So this may sound simple, but I think small things, they create a great impact. And in hiring, momentum is everything. So the
Got it.
recruiters who treat every search like a live business priority, we just not to fill a rec, are the ones who consistently deliver exceptional outcomes.
Got it. So being involved at every step of the way.
Yes. Yeah, and to keep yourself updated, just don't wait for the outcome, just not wait for the updates from the stakeholders. Go for it. Ask the stakeholders why the person is rejected. Okay, what are we waiting for? If I send you two candidates, okay,
Correct.
why didn't you like the first one? Everything. Just keep yourself informed and drive the process.
Just a bonus question because we are in the middle of the AI era. What's your take
Yeah.
on AI and how do you think recruiters should be perceiving it?
Oh, AI is amazing. I think AI is something not to, as we just had a session of AI few months back, and AI is just to help the humans. They're not to replace humans. So I would
Absolutely.
definitely say let's just find the good part in AI. Like, let's take the help. What's the big deal?
Right.
Taking help is not something that, we should be afraid of. And AI has actually simplified the processes, has actually helped us in, reducing a lot of time, and we can do multiple tasks together because of AI. So
Correct.
AI is good. AI is good. Yeah.
Sure. So that's a wrap on this TS Friday episode. Huge thanks to Vartika for sharing honest, practical perspectives from the world of talent acquisition. If this episode sparked a thought or a smile, do share it with someone from your TA circle. See you next Friday. Thank you so much, Vartika.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha. Thanks for having me.